Chapter 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kingdom of Light, looks too fierce, was mistaken for a villain author. 18 updates a day, traveling through the Kingdom of Light, Sarron became a physically weak Blue Clan member. Fortunately, there is a sign-in system, but daily sign-in is, sign in successfully, get ferocity value +1, sign in successfully, get ferocity value +1, sign in successfully, get ferocity value +1, then, a burly blue warrior with a ferocious aura appeared. Ace, Taro, Leo and other heroes took action, fearing that Sarron would go astray, but, Ace, it has to be you, Sarron, you are the director of the slaughterhouse in the Kingdom of Light. Taylor, it's time to change the education in the Kingdom of Light. Father of Ultra, a righteous beating, is the spirit of Ultra. Ampera, Sarron, how about you become the Emperor of the Dark Universe? Beria, damn, is this still the Kingdom of Light? Who is Ultraman Dark? Little Golden Man, can't afford to offend. Looking at the world where the style of painting changed, Sarron shook his head helplessly. I am actually a partner of justice. Chapter 1. This guy looks a bit fierce. Kingdom of Light, Ultra Arena. On the suspended arenas, Ultra Warriors stood scattered and trained. There are Red Ultra Warriors who are famous for their close combat skills. There are also Silver Ultra Warriors who are good at various light skills. Of course, there are also Blue Ultra Warriors who are good at scientific research, although compared to the other two races, the Blue Ultra Warriors appear weak. It is worth mentioning that most Ultra Warriors today are of mixed race. There is no such clear division between various ethnic groups. But the goal of every Ultra Warrior is undoubtedly to actively train and improve their own strength, looking forward to joining the Space Guard. After all, in this universe where dangers abound and monsters appear, strength is the foundation for survival. This is true for all races of space people, and it is also true for the Ultraman clan. When the new generation of Ultra Warriors were fighting fiercely, in the distance, a figure wearing a red cloak and two sharp horns on its head was quietly observing the arena. A flash of satisfaction flashed from time to time in those hexagonal eyes that were shining with orange light. He is Taylor, the son of Ultra's father, the sixth member of the Ultra Brothers, chief instructor of the Ultra Space Guard. Not bad, this group of Ultra Warriors has grown very quickly. Given time, the Space Guard will be able to add a lot of new forces. Taylor murmured to himself, his face full of relief. As the chief instructor of the Ultra Space Guard, he is responsible for educating the new generation of Ultra Warriors. His responsibility is extremely great. It can be said that if there were some Ultraman who ruined the reputation of the Kingdom of Light, then he must bear the primary responsibility. Moreover, it is also Taro's mission to provide excellent Ultra Warriors to the Space Guard. After all, the Space Guard is responsible not only for the safety of the Kingdom of Light, but also for the peace of the entire universe. Whether it is the Earth or other planets affected by darkness, as long as the evil force exists, the Ultra Warriors will take the lead and fight against it to maintain the peace of the universe. This is the thought. Taro felt deeply the great responsibility, and looked at the Ultra Warriors in the arena with a more serious look. His gaze slowly swept over. Taylor gradually became disappointed. If the conditions of the Ultra Brothers were used as a standard, there would probably be very few people who could achieve it. But soon, a figure caught Taylor's eyes. The body is covered with red lines, and the head is white and tinged with red, as if it is extremely energetic, like an elfin. The fire. Membius. Taylor observed carefully. In the midst of a battle, Membius looked serious. Seeing the attack coming from his opponent, he avoided it with skillful steps and turned to attack sideways. It started with a direct punch from the front, and then changed quickly, a swinging uppercut from all angles, left, right, middle and bottom. In an instant, the opponent was unable to resist and retreated continuously, but this did not stop. Membius launched strangulation and locking skills, immediately knocking his opponent to the ground. The opponent could only slap the ground repeatedly, begging for mercy and admitting defeat. As if aware of Taylor's gaze, Membius turned back and extended his hand to make a yes gesture. This guy is still the same. Seeing the funny scene, Taylor laughed dumbly and shook his head. However, he was still very satisfied with Membius. As a top student in the Kingdom of Light, he learned everything well and was polite and obedient. He is simply a typical good student. Duo is the backbone of the future Space Guard force. What's more important is that the relationship between the two is not ordinary, not only a master-disciple relationship, but also a brotherly relationship. Just as Taro was sighing, a shrill scream echoed through the Ultra Arena. Ah! Ah! Salon, please be gentle. Do you want to kill me? Upon hearing this name, Taylor's expression suddenly changed and he followed the name. I saw a burly blue Ultraman with a fierce aura all over his body, fighting a fierce battle with a red Ultraman. What's even more outrageous is that the red Ultraman, who is known for his fighting talent, is huddled in the corner and is being dealt crazy damage. Don't hide, didn't you just say you would give me a hand? Sarron's muscles bulged, and he raised his fist high, with a strong murderous aura, bang. His fist fell and hit the ground, shaking the arena. No more fighting. No more fighting. Can't I just admit defeat? The frightened red Ultraman dodged a punch and begged for mercy. He was afraid of being beaten to death by Salon. Although the Silver Cross team in the Kingdom of Light can heal wounds, the pain is real. Admit defeat? It's impossible to admit defeat. Sarron grabbed the opponent's neck with one hand and clenched his other hand into a fist to accumulate strength, then he fell madly, like countless meteors. In an instant, the red Ultraman was like a sandbag, screaming and screaming, and the sound echoed in the Ultra Arena. The other Ultra Warriors saw this and retracted their gazes after only a few breaths. Just because this kind of thing has long been commonplace, there are always some blind guys who want to see if Salon's muscles are paper tigers. After all, Salon really doesn't look like a Blue Tribe member, which Blue Tribe warrior is not weak, and all the skill trees are added to scientific research. Of course, except for a certain Superman Aguang who is both civil and military. Just when Salon was fighting fiercely, a voice full of anger exploded. Sarron, stop it. Chapter 2 Big Brother of Society. Cruelty Value. Instructor Taro, save me. Seeing Taro appear, the beaten Red Tribe Ultraman struggled to crawl, as if he saw a savior, but the next moment, he felt that his neck was being strangled by a pair of powerful hands, and then, a voice like the underworld echoed in his ears. Where are you going? Turning his head, he saw Salon's fierce, murderous face approaching. No, no, no. The red Ultra Warrior waved his hands and responded weakly, he will die. If he tells the truth, he will die. That's right. Sarron nodded with satisfaction and patted the other's shoulder. At the same time, he added a sentence silently in his heart, it's a pity that he is just a supporting role. At this time, Taro came in front of the two and said in a bad tone, Sarron, do you know what you are doing? Report to Instructor Taro, we are just conducting actual combat training. Faced with the questioning, Sarron just hugged the shoulder of the red Ultra Warrior. Chapter 2. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Looks like a good brother. You call this actual combat training? Taro looked at the two people in opposite states with strange eyes, and he just wanted to complain wildly in his heart, who the hell taught that actual combat training is like this? Beating people black and blue, and the screams like slaughtering pigs attracted everyone's attention. Do you know what it means to stop at the right time? Is this so? Seeing that the experienced Sarron could not break through, Taro set his target on the victim. He also signaled with his eyes, don't panic, just speak out. Instructor Taro, things. Yuer's tone was weak, he was about to tell the truth, but he heard a crisp fist-clenching sound. He glanced again. Sure enough, he saw Sarron staring at him with ill intentions, and his thick and ferocious arms made a muffled sound. Taro also noticed Sarron's little move, and stopped him. Sarron. Don't play tricks. Sarron shrugged, looking indifferent. Taro turned to Yuer and reminded him gently, what's going on? This is what happened. We are doing actual combat training. After several threats, Yuer had long lost his courage and responded in a low voice. Yuer. Taro heard the voice, his face froze, as if he realized something, then he asked the other Ultra Warriors who were watching, did you all see what happened just now? But everyone seemed to have reached a consensus and shook their heads silently. No, it was just an actual combat training just now. Yes, Instructor Taro, Sarron and Uer have a good relationship. I just saw Uer asking Sarron for advice on how to protect himself when being beaten by monsters, that everyone said one thing after another, and Taro almost thought he was seeing things. Today's training ends here, let's all disband. Taro had no choice but to wave his hand and announce the disbandment, then he waved his red cape and flew to the Space Guard headquarters. After this incident, Taro realized that there was a big troublemaker among this batch of new Ultraman. It is necessary to ask Zoffy for advice immediately. After Taro left, the Ultramen gathered together. Huh, Brother Salon, you are so awesome today, even Instructor Taro can't do anything to you. That's right, Uer, this young man, came to the Ultra Arena for the first time, don't know whose territory this is? But, Brother Salon, why are you so strong? You don't look like a blue Ultraman at all. Being in the middle of the Ultramen, listening to the flattery, Salon just shook his head helplessly. If it was a blue Ultraman born locally, this appearance and combat power would indeed be unusual, but he is not, but a time traveler, and, he never expected it, when he was about to swallow up the enemy club and become the strongest force in the area, he traveled through time. Although he didn't know much about the Ultra world, he still judged from some pictures that this was the land of light. And he also knew that he was a blue Ultraman, that's right, he was the blue Ultraman who was mainly responsible for construction and scientific research. If it were the world of other daily animations, it would be okay to do scientific research. I don't know how to reach the top with technology, but at least I can get by, but this is the Ultra world where there is a cosmic crisis at any time, Anpra, Belia, Dark Zagi, Judah, Akilu. With so many guys who are doing things openly or secretly, ordinary Ultramen are just cannon fodder. However, it is fortunate that the sign-in system was activated, but it also caused Sarron's current appearance. Today's sign-in has been refreshed, do you want to sign in? Sarron had no expression on his face, and whispered in his heart, sign in. Sign in successfully, get ferocity value +1. Sure enough. This ferocity value again. Sarron sighed secretly, since he got the system, he has insisted on signing in every day. Although he would sign in from time to time to get some skills or something, but most of the time it was this ferocity value. Thinking back to the past, he, Sarron, was also a famous handsome young man in the surrounding area, and many young female Ultramen favored him. It was after a large amount of ferocity value accumulated that the ferocious aura of his body emerged, and his figure became more and more burly and fierce, if it weren't for his innocent background and his registered permanent residence in the Kingdom of Light. I'm afraid that anyone who saw him would think he was some dark Ultraman. Disperse, disperse, gather every day, what's going on? We are righteous Ultra warriors, not some Ultra gangsters. After saying that, Sarron flew away. A bunch of young Ultra warriors were left with admiring expressions. After all, Sarron's prestige in this session is at its peak, he is a real big brother. It can be said that everyone follows Sarron's lead. As many Ultra warriors left, Mebius' figure appeared. Unlike in the past, he did not leave the Ultra arena early. Instead, he witnessed the gathering of all the Ultra warriors in an uncharacteristic way. He also discovered for the first time that so many people had gathered around Sarron without realizing it, so much so that he could argue with Taro. This matter was simply incredible to Mebius, you know. Taro's identity is extremely unusual. He is not only one of the 6 Ultra brothers, but also the son of Captain Ultra Father Sarron. Mebius couldn't hide his curiosity. As a man who had received a complete education in the land of light, he had never seen such an unusual Ultraman. Thinking of this, Mebius also flew away from the Ultra arena. On the other side, Space Guard headquarters, Taro and Zoffy met and started a debate. The topic was about how to deal with Salon. Chapter 3 Top Talent, the source of extreme evil. Taro, you have to teach well. Brother Zoffy, among this year's freshmen, there is a famous junior who is not simple. Taro looked at Zoffy's back and said in a steady tone. Oh. In addition to Mebius, there are also outstanding juniors. Zoffy turned around, with a large number of medals shining on his chest, records his great contributions to the Kingdom of Light. It is the supreme honor of an individual and also a symbol of his outstanding status. Taro said thoughtfully, Mebius is good, but the other junior may have more potential. Huh? Really? Zoffy was a little surprised. He just mentioned it casually, but he didn't expect Taro to have a new discovery. More importantly, the evaluation is higher than Mebius. This moves Zoffy. You know, Mebius is unanimously recognized by all the Ultramen. With high hopes, he will definitely be able to shoulder with the Ultra Brothers in the future. Zoffy, the first generation, Jack, Seven, Ace, Taro, Leo, Astra, Eddie, which one is not the mainstay of the Kingdom of Light? Supporting the Kingdom of Light to fight against the dark forces and maintain the peace of the universe, Taro nodded. Yes, Brother Zoffy. Taro, isn't that a good thing? Zoffy patted the other's shoulder. I have a feeling that the turmoil in the universe is coming, and the Kingdom of Light needs outstanding younger generations. Taro didn't speak for a long time, and said with difficulty, but I can't be sure whether he can become a real Ultra Warrior. To be honest, he didn't have any confidence at all, especially when he saw the scene where Sarron punched his companions. More importantly, he also noticed that Sarron's body exuded a terrifying aura. There was no appearance of a light warrior. Zoffy was stunned when he heard the voice, and suddenly a burly figure with a murderous aura broke into his mind. He seemed to know who Taro was talking about, so he asked tentatively, "Is it Sarron?" "Hey, Brother Zoffy, how did you know?" Taro responded incredulously. Zoffy looked at the outside world, countless buildings made of crystal lenses, and recalled the first time he saw Sarron. Chapter 3. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At that time, Sarron was still a weak blue warrior, but after a while, suddenly, it was discovered that Sarron's aura had changed drastically, as if he had fallen into darkness. This incident caused a shock to the Kingdom of Light at the time. If it had not been tested by the Silver Cross team, I'm afraid that Sarron would really have fallen into darkness. Zoffy murmured, "Indeed, that child is different. If he can be guided properly, he will definitely become a true warrior of light. If not, he will definitely fall into darkness." Taro took over and said seriously, "I will never allow such a thing to happen." Zoffy and Taro looked at each other and recalled those ultra warriors who fell into darkness. Without exception, they caused great damage to the Kingdom of Light. They also brought countless war disasters to the universe. "Taro, you have a great responsibility, and you must not leave Sarron alone," Zoffy said in a deep voice. As the captain of the Space Guard, he did not want to see the cosmic crisis caused by the Ultra Warriors again. This undoubtedly greatly damaged the reputation of the Kingdom of Light. "Yes, Brother Zoffy." Taro nodded heavily. "Since Sarron doesn't know how to be a good Ultra Warrior, let's guide him step by step. Tomorrow we will go to the depths of the universe and have a real battle with the monsters to let Sarron understand what teamwork is." Soon, Taro immediately decided on measures. As the chief instructor, he could naturally arrange how to train Ultra Warriors. At this time, Zoffy suddenly added, "Put Sarron and Mebius together. With Mebius here, I believe Sarron will understand how to be a good Ultra Warrior faster." Hearing this, Taro suddenly realized and couldn't help but give a thumbs up. "It's you, my brother Zoffy. The top students lead the poor students, one-on-one assistance. The effect is definitely doubled. With Mebius, a good student from the Kingdom of Light, no matter how Sarron messes up, he will have to change his face and become an Ultra Warrior again." "Okay, I'll arrange it right away and go to the L60 planetary group." Taro excitedly left the Space Guard headquarters. Zoffy waved his cape, hiding his merits and fame. While Taro was arranging training, Sarron was flying towards his residence. The Kingdom of Light is an ideal country that maintains the balance of the entire universe. No crime has occurred in 400,000 years. It is a truly ideal society. Therefore, the problems that will not disappear in human society will not occur at all in the Kingdom of Light. Therefore, every Ultraman does not have to worry about all the problems such as housing, medical care, education, and travel. As soon as he stepped into the residence, a reminder sounded in Sarron's ears. Ding. "The target check-in location has been updated. Do you want to check it?" Sarron was stunned. He thought that this system only had the function of daily check-in. He never thought that there was also a function of check-in at the destination. Then what else? Check. Thinking, Sarron whispered. Immediately, a light screen appeared, and several lines of information appeared. Host, Ultraman Sarron. Strength, advanced intermediate, note, primary, intermediate, advanced, elite, legend, legendary, diverse, mysterious. Each realm is divided into low, intermediate, advanced, and peak. Skills: full-level basic fighting skills, full-level basic throwing skills, full-level basic light skills. Talent: extremely fierce source. Sign-in location, L60 planetary group. This is the first time that Sarron has seen his information panel. This is the first time that he has understood his skills and strength and other related information so specifically. In the past, the system only opened the daily sign-in function. Where is there such a detailed panel now? When Sarron saw the strength column, he felt that it was indeed the case, which was in line with his previous estimation. Although among so many strength levels, the advanced combat power is really not enough. However, Sarron has only been here for a short time, not to mention a large-scale duel, and even fighting with monsters has never been experienced. It is only relying on the training in the Ultra Arena that he has achieved the current combat power. Moreover, in the Kingdom of Light, high-level Ultra Warriors are not simple, and they are no longer cannon fodder. With the qualification to join the Space Guard, it is more than enough to serve as a senior instructor in the Ultra Arena. In the universe, he is also a good hand. You know, even the Ultra Brothers were only elite Ultra Warriors before going to Earth. After countless fights and tempering on Earth and in the universe, they have the strength of today's legendary Ultra Warriors and achieved the reputation of the Ultra Brothers. Looking down, Sarron was attracted by the talent column, the source of extreme evil. With doubtful thoughts, Sarron clicked on the introduction of this talent. He felt that he was about to reveal the secret of his own changes. Chapter 4 M87 Light. Worried about being too noisy, so I flew very fast. The source of extreme evil, mysterious. You are the source of all the evil forces in the world. Immersed in it, you have an unparalleled growth rate, unparalleled physical strength, and a natural dark deterrence. You are the end of darkness. Looking at the talent introduction, Sarron couldn't come back to his senses for a long time. Awesome. Really awesome. But, I am a righteous Ultraman. Sarron had countless llama galloping through his mind. Although this talent is the top-level mysterious talent, it brings him extremely fast growth speed and terrifying physical strength, but it looks like a talent that only villains have. What source of evil? The end of darkness. It has nothing to do with light. Moreover, Sarron felt that this talent was not that simple. The talent introduction may not be fully revealed, just the cruelty value. Sarron himself felt that the more cruelty value, the darker the appearance would be. Forget it. Let's talk about it later. Sarron could only take one step at a time. Then, he set his sights on the sign-in location. He had no impression of the L60 planetary group. He planned to check the interstellar map as soon as possible, hoping to sign in successfully as soon as possible, see what rewards are waiting for him. Sarron had a hunch that the reward for signing in at this location would definitely be better than the reward for signing in every day. After all, things are precious because they are rare. The next day, Ultra Arena, the bustling Ultra Warriors gathered here. They talked, excited, and their eyes were full of expectations, because Taro had just announced that this training would go to the L60 planetary group to conduct actual combat training with space monsters. For the new generation of Ultra Warriors, it was both exciting and nervous. After all, since their birth, they have never even left the Kingdom of Light, not to mention, a real fight with space monsters. Quiet. Quiet. If you face the ferocious space monsters with this mentality, you don't know how you will die. That when the Ultra Warriors were noisy, Taro's cold words poured a basin of cold water on the heads of all Ultra Warriors. This is a real combat, not a normal combat training. If you don't treat it with care, your life may be in danger at any time. There are many Ultra Warriors who die in combat every year. Not only you freshmen, but also those seniors with rich combat experience. Taro's words were serious and cold, laying out the bloody facts. The space monsters were extremely ferocious, and even the Ultra Brothers had died many times. If it weren't for the resurrection method of Mother Ultra, there would be no Ultra Brothers today, but not every Ultra Warrior can enjoy this kind of treatment. After being scolded, the excited Ultra Warriors calmed down and bowed their heads in silence, recognized the cruel nature of the battle. The duel between the two sides is either life or death. But there was a figure who yawned out of boredom and calculated the time, because it was time to sign in every day again. Today's sign-in has been refreshed, do you want to sign in? Sarron had no expression on his face, and whispered in his heart, sign in. Sign in successfully, get skill, M87 Ray. Fuck, luck has changed. Sarron was shocked. He didn't expect that the daily sign-in would actually produce something. In the past, most of them were brutality values, and very few would produce some skills, but they were all basic skills, such as basic throwing skills, basic boxing, basic flying kicks. Now that an M87 Ray has been produced, it's amazing. Chapter 4. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The M87 beam is one of Zoffy's special moves. It is the most powerful single-target beam skill among the Ultra Brothers. It is said to have a high temperature of 870,000 degrees Celsius. The surface temperature of the Sun is only about 5,500 degrees Celsius. Salon. Sarron, not just when Sarron was checking his skills, a cold shout rang in his ears. When Sarron came back to his senses, he realized that Taylor's eyes were not kind. Seeing that Sarron was distracted at such an important moment of explanation, Taylor was secretly unhappy. You kid, I won't train you into a qualified warrior of light. My name, Taylor, is written upside down. Salon, you and Mebius are in a group. Taylor said solemnly, Mebius. Sarron looked to the side in confusion, with red lines covering his body and a head that was white and red, a very energetic figure. At this time, the other party came over and said politely, hello, Salong sang. Sarron's expression froze and he waved his hand, remembering the key thing. I didn't notice it before, but today I discovered that Mebius and I were in the same class, so according to time calculation, Mebius is studying in the Kingdom of Light and has not yet gone to Earth, doesn't it? Mean that the upcoming plot should be the Ampera aliens attacking the Earth? In other words, Ampera is his latest threat. The Ampera people are terrifyingly powerful. 30,000 years ago, they launched the Ultra War, which had a profound impact on the history of the Kingdom of Light. It is the same level of combat power as Ultra's father. Although he was injured in that battle, he has recovered after so many years. The strength is guaranteed to be legendary level. And since I am only a high-level warrior, I must hurry up. Seeing that Sarron didn't pay much attention to Mebius, it didn't matter to Taylor. He had everything under control. Anyway, when the time comes, there will always be situations that force the two of them to become familiar with each other. Soon, the teams were assigned, basically into groups of 3 or 4, only Sarron and Mebius were in a group of 2, this was of course Taylor's intention. Okay, let's go. Ha! Taylor swung his red cloak and flew through the air, as fast as lightning. Seeing this, the other Ultra Warriors followed closely behind. Wash socks. Yeah. Scared. Snort. Yeah. Accompanied by different sounds of taking off, red and blue figures took off on the spot, flying towards the Kingdom of Light. Sarron resisted the thought of complaining and decided not to make any strange noises. Just be quiet and gather your strength. The muscles in his legs bulged, and then he stepped on them and suddenly exerted force. Boom. The next moment, cracks appeared on the ground, a ferocious blue shadow rose into the sky, and the air made bursts of explosions, instantly surpassing all Ultraman. The strong wind blew, and the aftermath even knocked the Ultraman on both sides flying dozens of meters away. After flipping several times in the air, Zhongao stabilized his figure and looked at Sarron's back dumbfounded. This guy Sarron, he can even take off with such force. It has to be you, my brother Sarron. Spread out, how dare you steal brother Sarron's sea takeoff position. Mebius, who wanted to follow Sarron and take off, was dumbfounded. In the blink of an eye, everyone on the other side flew 1,000 meters away. How to pursue this? Taro, who was at the front of the team, turned stiff as he saw Sarron flying far away. He could only grit his teeth and say, Salon, you kid. You don't follow the rules again. P.S. The new book is about to set sail, and I beg all readers for your comments, monthly votes, and rewards. Set the rules for additional updates. 1 update for $2,000, 1 update for 200 reviews, 1 update for 2 monthly passes, and 1 update for 2 rewards. Kneel down and beg. Daily guarantee of 10,000 words, Chapter 5 Multi-level talent, Forbidden Dharma God. It's time for the protagonist to appear. Deep in the universe, the boundless black star field, with countless stars shining brightly, from time to time, meteorites streak across the stars and fall towards the unknown end. Taro led the new generation of Ultra Warriors to shuttle among them. After a distance of 100,000 light-years, it gradually approaches its destination, the L60 planet group. We will arrive at our destination soon. Let me explain the situation one last time. Planet L60 is invaded by evil alien monsters and seeks help from our Kingdom of Light. So, the purpose this time is to eradicate these evil monsters. Taylor stopped, crossed his arms across his chest, and spoke seriously. The cosmic hurricane blew by, and the red cloak rustled, showing extraordinary momentum. Understood, Instructor Taylor. Don't worry, we will definitely complete the mission. That's right, there are so many Ultra Warriors here, don't worry. The Austrians were gearing up, their voices full of urgency. They all thought about starting the first real actual battle. Then let's go, Ultra Warriors. Taylor nodded and pointed to the slowly rotating planet L60, which was emitting green light in the distance. The next moment, dozens of streams of light fell down and penetrated the atmosphere, entered planet L60. Taylor, on the other hand, watched calmly, a sharp light flashing in his eyes. I don't know which evil cosmic being launched this invasion. Please don't let me find you, or I will make you pay the price. Taro said coldly, and smashed the small meteorite that passed by with one punch. Boom boom boom. Accompanied by the violent sound, the earth shook, and the sky was splashed with smoke and dust. A group of earth destroyers descended. No, a group of light warriors descended. The AO stood up and looked around. It was a desolate place, with hills spreading and gray sand flying, like a gray world. There was no trace of life at all. Hey, what's going on? Why is there no monster? Humph, not only that, but I didn't even see the natives of this planet. It's really strange. This planet gives people a bad feeling. As if they felt that the atmosphere was abnormal, the Ultra Warriors scattered and inspected what happened on this land. Sarron-san. Let's go check the surroundings. Mebius scratched his head and came to Salon, speaking weakly. Seeing Salon's extraordinary stature and fierce aura, he couldn't help but feel a little weaker in his aura, but Salon ignored it for the time being, and leaned against a mountain. Then choose to sign in. Sign in. Destination L60 planet has arrived. Do you want to sign in? Sign in successfully. Get talent, Forbidden God of Law, multiple. Seeing the reward pop up, Salon was shocked. It's actually a multi-level talent. This is the mysterious talent second only to the top. The talent division is also divided according to the strength level: primary, intermediate, advanced, elite, legendary, multiple, mysterious. The only difference is that each level has 4 less small levels. With excitement, Salon clicked on the talent introduction. Forbidden God of Law, multiple. You are the darling of all laws in the world, born as a god. All taboo laws are just child's play in your eyes. You can easily do it and wave your hand to achieve it. The Forbidden God of Law is you. Chapter 5. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After a brief introduction, Sarron understood that the talent of this forbidden magic god was equivalent to giving himself a terrifying magic talent. This means that learning to perform all light skills will be a breeze. Even the forbidden spells of the Kingdom of Light can be easily learned if he wants to. This is of great importance to a blue Ultraman. You must know that the difference between the blue tribe and the silver tribe is the gap in talent. The silver people are good at light skills and can use a large number of light skills, with all kinds of forbidden moves at their fingertips, just like that Dharma King Ace. I was originally worried that I would only be able to fight with my body and would not be able to use the powerful light skills. What's the difference between that and space monsters? It's fine now. With the added talent of the forbidden magic god, Sarron has already made up for the shortcomings of the blue clan. Just when Sarron was satisfied, Mebius beside him suddenly screamed. Salon-san, look! How come such a monster suddenly appeared? Mebius' tone was full of anxiety. Hearing the sound, Sarron slowly sat up. Hiss. Ouch. Ho ho ho. In the distance, in the gray flying dust, there are dense shadows of monsters shaking and making beastly noises. The heavy footsteps made the earth tremble, and the Ultra Warriors who initially went to explore their surroundings have already collided head-on with the monsters. Spethium Rays. Metalim Ray. Ultra Flying Kick. Atomic Punch. The new generation of Ultra Warriors tried their best to fight with the ferocious space monsters. The Red Ultraman strangled the space monster Bermuda by the neck and threw him to the ground, but because he didn't have enough strength, he was thrown away. Another Red and Blue Ultraman released his light skills, trying to explode the frozen monster Magton. Unexpectedly, the other party's cold air jet was faster, and he was instantly hit and turned into ice. If it hadn't been for the help of other Ultraman, he would have been smashed into pieces of ice on the spot. Damn it, it's so awesome. Why are these monsters so strong? I can't beat them. Dodge quickly, be careful of Magton's cold air attack. The Ultra Warriors, who were fighting for the first time, quickly fell into a disadvantage and were defeated by the fiercely attacking space monsters. Outside the atmosphere of planet L60, Taylor silently shook his head. I deeply feel that this generation of Ultra Warriors is too young. Dozens of people were in such a mess against a dozen monsters, that's not to mention a one-on-one duel. Suddenly, a red and white figure joined the battlefield, catching Taylor's attention and making him nod. This is Mebius, who can't stand the defeat. Mebius swooped down and instantly collided with the space monster Bermuda. With the momentum, he concentrated his power with both palms and launched continuous chops, head, neck, chest, abdomen. The rapid slashing made the space monster Bermuda wail and retreat continuously, but this is not the end. Dream Beam Ray. Mebius quickly opened his arms to direct the energy, forming a figure-8 shape and then forming a cross shape. Immediately afterwards, the right hand emitted golden light reaching 100,000 degrees Celsius. The terrifying specium material element struck out with the light. Boom. With the roaring explosion, the space monster Bermuda was blown to pieces on the spot. A set of consecutive moves flowed smoothly, and Mebius tightened his gestures, trying to regain his breath, but the monster on the side will not just watch. Immediately, several monsters bumped out from one side, sending Mebius flying hundreds of meters away. After collapsing several mountains in succession, it was able to stop. Only Mebius was left lying in the ruins, clutching his chest and wailing. The other monsters saw Mebius' performance and immediately chose to attack him in groups. I want to eliminate this biggest threat first. As a result, more than 10 monsters moved their limbs and charged towards Mebius crazily. Mombius. Be careful, the monsters are attacking you. Get out of the way. The other bruised Ultraman were unable to help, so they could only collapse on the ground and stretch out their hands feebly. Taylor saw this. A sharp color flashed in the orange-yellow hexagonal eyes. This situation is completely fatal. He just wanted to take action. I saw a fierce blue figure move. P.S. There is no data. Please beg me. Chapter 6 allows you to unite and cooperate, not command others. Boom. Blue light and shadow fell from the sky. Sparks flew and dust flew. In the dust and mist, a pair of upward-looking, irregular pentagonal eyes were seen emitting milky white light. A trace of coldness and murderous aura escaped, instantly causing the monsters to stop advancing in shock. Immediately afterwards, the dust mist dispersed. The appearance of the light and shadow gradually became clearer. The body is mainly blue, with muscle outlines outlined by silver-white lines on the outside. There are strong muscle bulges on the chest armor and abdomen, showing a strong sense of strength. Coupled with the strong evil spirit emanating from everywhere, it gave everyone around him a strong sense of oppression and shock. If you put it this way, it's like King Aguru has the muscular body of 7X, and at the same time has the aura of Dark Ultraman such as Belia. Sarron. Brother Sarron. Sarron-san. Every Ultraman exclaimed, shocked by Sarron's full-of-force appearance, and worried whether he could defeat this group of monsters. Just a group of monsters with intermediate combat power. Sarron put down his arms crossed in front of his chest, slowly stood up, and glanced at the monsters with fangs and claws. That's right, just a group of monsters with intermediate combat power. this kind of strength is just barely acceptable in the universe, and it is not considered a terrifying creature. It is equivalent to the strength of Ultraman who participated in actual combat. But even so, they can rely on their rich fighting experience to deal with Ultraman who are several times more than them. Anyway, Sarron didn't take them seriously at all. Ultraman such as Mebius were different, and they all lowered their heads in shame. After all, his performance was too embarrassing. He couldn't even beat a 2-on-1, it was just hell. Taro heard it and nodded secretly, but at this time, a sharp voice sounded. "You are so powerful, why don't you go up?" The person who spoke was Uer, the red warrior who was beaten by Salon before. Then, watch out, before he finished speaking, Salon's figure suddenly disappeared. The next moment, a shocking scene appeared. At some point, Salon appeared in front of the cruel monster Gamos. Seeing the opponent's two claws swinging, there was no hesitation. Sarron turned his hands into hand knives and chopped down, full of violent momentum. Puff. Puff. Dirty blood splashed, and Gamos's two claws were cut off and fell to the ground. A sharp howl of pain sounded. "It's not over yet." Sarron accumulated power in his fists, and the fierce light shone, emitting dark energy fluctuations. The next moment, his fists hit Gamos' chest, two big holes penetrated. He pulled his hands to the sides again, and with a scream, Gamos was ruthlessly torn into two halves. For a moment, everyone was stunned and stared in amazement. Although the cruel monster Gamos was wanted in many galaxies in the universe and was an extremely hateful monster, but killing him with such a cruel method. Chapter 6. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Obviously, it was beyond the knowledge of the Ultra Warriors present. But how could Sarron care so much about them? He exerted force on his feet and jumped up suddenly. Then, he kicked a bird monster in the air and exploded. Only a sharp-beaked bird head fell to the ground, opening and closing, as if wailing. Then, Sarron attacked the nearby frozen monster Magedon. The opponent realized the horror of Sarron and quickly sprayed powerful freezing gas from the long hair all over his body. Whooshed, at a large amount of cold air waves instantly turned the surroundings into a frozen world of -50 degrees. Magedon thought that the freezing was effective and protruded two sharp and huge fangs forward. He rushed toward Sarron like crazy and hit him, but what greeted him was a pair of big hands with bulging muscles. Crack. The huge sharp fangs were firmly grasped. Feeling the terrifying breath coming from the ice mist, Magedon roared in fear and moved his limbs backward frantically. Unfortunately, but he couldn't move at all. Because death is approaching. With a crisp muffled sound echoing, puff. The frozen monster Magdon was torn in half on the spot. After killing 3 monsters in a row, Sarron slowly loosened his shoulders, and his muscles trembled slightly. A fierce and cold look swept over. The remaining monsters fled on the spot, fearing that they would provoke this killer. "Just killed like this?" Uer, who was shrinking behind, said weakly, not daring to say a word. The other Ultra Warriors were also silent, looking at the 3 unrecognizable monster corpses on the ground. They dared not say anything. Even Taro was silent and clenched his fists secretly. Is this really an Ultra Warrior? Why is this the way of fighting? No, it must be corrected. On the contrary, Mebius was full of excitement and raised his fist. "Thank you, Sarron-san. Let's go together and eliminate the remaining monsters." The other Ultra Warriors also came back to their senses. As Mebius started the second actual battle, with the first lesson, they are gradually adapting and becoming more and more handy, and Sarron withdrew from the battlefield, because this level of battle is meaningless. Is this the talent of the source of extreme evil? Sarron clenched his fist and found that his strength was enhanced, has broken through to the advanced high-level combat power. As long as he takes another small step, he will immediately become an elite warrior. That is the strength of the Ultra Brothers before they went to Earth. It is also the strength of a large part of the aliens and monsters that appeared in TV. At this time, Taro, who had been silent, suddenly looked up and looked at a corner of the L60 planet. There were 2 ferocious monsters rushing out there. The strength happened to be at the advanced high level. Taro was about to take action, but when he saw Sarron, who was bored, decided to wait for a while, because he saw that Sarron's strength was also high level. But facing 2 high-level twin monsters, it's not that easy to rely on one person alone. The twin monsters Red Helas and Black Helas have almost the same strength, and the two monsters cooperate very well, and they are very difficult opponents. I think by then, they can defeat the opponent through unity and cooperation. It will definitely make Sarron realize the importance of team spirit. Taro made up his mind and continued to observe, but soon, his face darkened. I asked you to work as a team and defeat the enemy together. I didn't ask you to be the big brother and command others to fight in a group. I saw it on the planet L60. Sarron was not in a hurry and began to command the scattered Ultra Warriors. Why are you hiding so far back? Go to the front row. And you fool, go to the back and use the light to assist the attack. Mebius, what are you doing? Just focus your firepower on attacking these two monsters. Why are you running to chase those fleeing monsters? Sarron stood on the sand dune, pointed at the battlefield with his hand, and directed the offensive of the various Ultra organizations. It felt like he led the younger brothers of the club to besiege the two gold medal fighters of the neighboring club. P.S. Please give me the data, Chapter 7 Group Fight. This is my escape route. Dozens of Ultra Warriors formed a formation, in order. Some were responsible for attacking, some were responsible for attracting firepower, and some were responsible for back row support. It was like a group fight in a dungeon. The two twin monsters were so frustrated that they were surrounded and beaten by many Ultra Warriors. Just as he was about to attack the nearest enemy with his claws, he was immediately interrupted by the light coming from afar. He staggered, and had no time to react. Several figures approached from behind, swinging their fists to attack. He was caught in a dilemma and surrounded. Lights burst in the sky, and countless fist shadows entangled him. The two twin monsters howled in pain. Originally, they were all high-level combat forces, and beating the Ultra Warriors in front of them was just like playing, but now is different from the past, facing the organized and disciplined Ultra Hooligans. How to fight. Mebius and other Ultra Warriors also felt that this way of fighting was very comfortable. Advance and retreat in an orderly manner, coordinate front and back, and attack crosswise. A complete offensive rhythm was formed. At this time, the twin monsters couldn't help it and let out a beast cry. Then the sharp horns on the top of the head flickered and glowed, and the two hands tightly hugged the other party and spun at high speed, while releasing energy from the body and forming a blue barrier, covering the whole body. It was a combination skill Kira's spin. The twin monsters flew into the air, spun at high speed, and attacked outward with terrifying collision force. At the same time, countless blue light bullets shot out, and the ground burst into flames. Obviously, they wanted to break the heavy blockade of the Ultra Warriors. Swish! The high-speed rotating bodies collided everywhere, looking down on everyone, and no one dared to confront them head-on. In an instant, the Ultra formation was in chaos, and there was a vague sign of retreat. Mebius, attack the top of the twin monsters. At this time, Sarron issued an order, indicating the key points of the attack. Mebius and were stunned at first, but soon realized the key, that is, the lethality and defense of Kira's spin are impeccable, but the only drawback is that there is no barrier covering the top, which makes it vulnerable to attack. The next moment. Mebim Ray. Spicium Ray. .2 rays fell from the sky and hit the top of the twin monsters' heads. Sparks flew and sharp corners broke. The twin monsters separated directly and fell heavily on the ground, stirring up dust all over the sky, and the other righteous Ultra Warriors also rushed up. They immediately beat the twin monsters to roll around and dodge, resisting the pervasive punches and kicks. Seeing that he had commanded well, Sarron nodded with satisfaction. Sure enough, there is strength in numbers. What is the Ultra Spirit? Isn't it just a righteous beating? On the side, Taro was silent when he saw this scene. With his arms around his chest and his head lowered, he seemed to be thinking. Gradually, a whisper came out, "This way of fighting seems to be very effective." Taro recalled his experience of protecting the Earth. At that time, I was also a young and stubborn person. I always liked to fight against the monsters head-on, and I was often injured. If it weren't for the help of other Ultra Brothers, I would have had a very difficult time getting through that period. Chapter 7. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In addition to one-on-one combat, 1-on-2 and 1-on-3 are also common. Let's ask, if it's the other way around, and no longer sending an Ultra Warrior to protect the Earth alone, would it be more efficient? Just as Taro was thinking, a muffled thunder sounded. he looked up and saw that he didn't know when, behind Sarron, a group of black mist quickly condensed, and a figure attacked from it. Sarron, be careful. It's the sword tyrant Magma. Taro sensed the crisis and rushed out in red light. He realized that the other party had been waiting for the opportunity to sneak attack, and when the twin monsters were retreating step by step and many Ultra Warriors gradually relaxed, it was the best time. Too late. Hearing Taro's roar, Magma just sneered. He swung the blade with his right arm and stabbed it quickly, stabbing Sarron in the back. He observed in secret for a long time and found that these Ultra Warriors were not to be feared, except for the blue figure in front of him with a serious face. So, he released the twin monsters to attract the attention of others, and he quietly attacked from behind, just to kill with one blow. Clang! A crisp buzzing sound echoed. The two figures remained motionless, one holding his back and the other holding a stabbing posture. It was as if the space was stagnant, but in an instant, everyone was stunned. Taro stopped flying and stopped in mid-air, full of disbelief. The same was true for Mebius, Yul and other Ultra Warriors, who were stunned in place. The Magma Star was even more stunned, staring stupidly at his rolled-up blade. And, Sarron's uninjured back, broad arms, and bulging blue muscles. After being stabbed, there was not even a little white mark left. What kind of monster are you? The Magma Star asked subconsciously. What kind of garbage are you? Sarron slowly turned his head, venting coldness and contempt. Crack! With a grab of his right hand, Sarron held the blade tightly. This action frightened the Magma Star so much that he pulled his arm hard. A strong evil spirit rushed towards him, and he regretted it very much. Why did he provoke this evil star for no reason? He was simply impatient to live. More importantly, his arm and the blade were connected as one. There was no way he could abandon the blade and run away. You. The Magma Star panicked, forgetting that he was an evil cosmic man who destroyed many planetary civilizations in the universe. Are you good at sneak attacks? Sarron sneered, and his right hand suddenly exerted force, directly tearing off the opponent's arm, and dirty blood spurted out. Then, he kicked fiercely. Bang! The Magma Star was thrown backwards by the huge force, and rolled continuously and fell hundreds of meters away. He covered his bleeding broken arm and wailed, but laughed out loud. Ha ha ha, this is my escape route. Ultraman from the Kingdom of Light, I will definitely come back. The magma alien took advantage of the force to take off and wanted to escape back into the black fog, but a sneer made him stand up coldly. Looking back again, I saw that Sarron raised his arms at some point, and the timing light suddenly flashed in the black fog. M87 ray. Then he raised his right hand quickly and fired a dark ray of light several tens of meters in size. Swish. The ray was emitted, full of power and a strong dark atmosphere, and the ground exploded wherever it passed. Magma alien only felt a flash of black light in front of his eyes, and the whole person turned into particles and drifted away in the dark light. He died so quickly that he didn't even scream. But it didn't stop. Sarron suddenly flew up and rushed towards the fleeing monster. At the same time, he combined his arms into an L shape and continued to fire M87 rays crazily. This is exactly the B type of M87 light. Similarly, the M87 light should have a silver-white color effect. In Sarron's hands, it completely turned into a black-red light stream full of dark atmosphere. However, the power was greatly multiplied, far exceeding the light version of M87 light. Swish, 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 the black light diffused and fell on the fleeing space monsters. Countless fire explosions sounded, and the monsters were blown into powder one by one, without even a trace of fragments left. In an instant, all the invading monsters on the L60 planet were killed. P.S. Ask for data. Chapter 8 Earth Destroyer. Big Brother Dragon. Nothing more. Slowly landing, Sarron gathered his energy and felt refreshed. Because he killed so many monsters, his strength has reached a small step up, reaching the peak of advanced strength. Such a fast growth rate is like an evil way. If he didn't know that he was a legitimate and righteous Ultraman, Sarron would have thought that he was some dark Ultraman. However, the scene of him quickly destroying the monster made the onlookers unable to recover for a long time. The gap between people is sometimes bigger than that between people and dogs. Not to mention the gap between Ultraman and Ultraman. At this time, Taro also landed on the ground, looking at the wounds and corpses all over the ground. He didn't speak for a long time and fell into silence. Obviously, this so-called call for help was a conspiracy of the magma people. The purpose was to set a trap to annihilate the Ultraman who came, after all, as a representative of light. The Kingdom of Light has always been hated by the forces of darkness. No evil cosmic being or dark force wants to destroy the Kingdom of Light. Taro looked at Sarron, who was surrounded by the Austrians again, and shook his head helplessly. Although the means of doing things are a bit cruel, but it has to be said that the opponent's performance in actual combat was extremely impressive. It can be said to have greatly reduced the losses of Ultra Warriors. Thinking about it, Taylor came to the front of Zhongao. Instructor Taylor. Instructor Taylor. Instructor Taylor. Taro nodded, pointed to the dead space monster and said, "Everyone should pay attention in the future. We in the Kingdom of Light take it as our duty to maintain the peace of the universe, but we will inevitably face the machinations of the dark forces. Just like this magma conspiracy. It is using the indigenous people of the L60 planet to send out distress signals to lure our Kingdom of Light warriors to come, in an attempt to encircle and suppress them. Such incidents are not uncommon. I hope everyone will be careful no matter what difficulty they are performing in the future." Taylor spoke slowly, word by word, with an extremely serious attitude, because this kind of thing is so common. Ultra warriors suffer hidden losses every year. If I hadn't been leading the team this time, and with Sarron here, the consequences are really unimaginable. Thinking of Sarron, Taylor came to him and looked at him with admiration. But this will not change the original policy. Let Sarron learn how to be an ultra warrior. After all, through this actual battle, although Taylor was somewhat shaken by the education in the Kingdom of Light, every move of Sarron was full of darkness, and he is extremely brutal when fighting monsters. This made Taylor wary and energetic. "Everyone, go back." "Yes, Instructor Taylor." Taylor took the lead in flying out of the L60 planet, but after flying a certain distance, I realized that no one was following me. When I turned around, I realized that everyone was waiting for Sarron to fly first. Sarron was also helpless and wanted to wait until everyone was far away before taking off. I am just afraid that the aftermath will be too big and shock others. But now, may everyone wish you good luck. Chapter 8. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With a firm thought, Sarron slowly exerted force with his feet, and countless cracks began to spread on the ground, which was pitch black and bottomless. The other Ultramen tried to dodge, but it was too late. Boom. All they heard was the amazing explosion. The ground under Sarron's feet broke and sank directly, exploding a deep pit hundreds of meters in size. He flew thousands of meters away quickly, leaving behind many Ultramen who were fleeing in panic. He took off successfully after a lot of trouble. He looked at Sarron's back with a look of shock and helplessness. What can they do when they meet Big Brother, in the starry sky? Looking at the huge deep pit on the surface of the L60 planet, Taro was instantly petrified, suppressed his desire to complain, and clenched his fists. "This kid, he's playing this trick again. Why don't you change your name to Earth Destroyer Sarron?" Time passed in an instant. Since the encounter with L60, Sarron has ushered in a period of gap time. During this period, he was seizing the time to hone his strength. After all, if his strength increases too quickly, his control over himself will decrease. It's like asking a child to manipulate an adult's body. If he doesn't take some time to adapt, it will definitely be counterproductive. Moreover, he didn't give up the daily sign-in of the system, although the result was very ordinary. Sign-in successful, get a ferocious value +1. Sign-in successful, get a ferocious value +1. Sign-in successful, get a ferocious value +1. Without exception, this is the sign-in record that I have flipped through. The source of extreme ferocity is the mysterious talent based on the ferocity value. The two complement each other and bring great enhancement to Salon. At this time, Mebius' voice came from the communicator. "Brother Salon, everyone has gathered. When will the club training start?" "Okay, wait until I get there." Salon cheered up. When fighting the twin monsters, he realized the potential of the Ultra Warriors. Each of them is a good seedling for the club. If we continue to develop well, it will be easy to fight against the dark forces. At the command, the Ultramen came out in full force to conquer all the planets infected by the dark forces, seize the territory, expand the peacekeeping zone, and protect the peace of each universe. And Mebius, the first to bear the brunt, is Salon's first disciple. As for you, be a good loser. Ultra Training Ground, dozens of Ultramen stood in teams, arranged according to their races, because, for the general Ultramen, their race determines their talents. The Reds are good at close combat, the Silvers are good at long-range rays, the Blues are good at scientific research and inventions. Of course, some Ultramen with extraordinary talents are excluded. What Superman Iguan Hikari? At this moment, the Ultramen waited quietly in place, waiting for the leader to come. Boom! Suddenly, bursts of explosions came from the sky, and a group of blue light and shadow fell rapidly. It landed right on the suspended platform, attracting everyone's attention. As the light spread, the figure inside slowly walked out. The body was mainly blue, with a silver-white line outlining the muscle outline on the outside. The chest armor and abdomen had strong muscle bulges, showing a strong sense of power. Coupled with the strong evil spirit emanating from everywhere, it brought a strong sense of oppression and shock to the people around. Mebius saw it clearly and immediately raised his arms and shouted, "Brother Salon." The other Ultra warriors followed immediately. "Brother Salon! Brother Salon! Brother Salon!" The sound was like thunder, rolling and surging, echoing over the training ground. The Ultraman passing by couldn't help but look sideways, wanting to see what happened in the training ground. As a result, what came into view was a neatly arranged team shouting loudly, and the target was the strong figure on the suspended platform. P.S. Ask for data, Chapter 9, Club Building. Ask Ace to deal with Salon. Let Mebius go to Earth. While building the club at the Ultra Training Ground, there was also discussion in the Space Guard headquarters. Two figures stood in the conference room. They were Taro and Zoffy. One was the captain of the Space Guard, and the other was the chief instructor of the Space Guard. The focus of the discussion was naturally related to the new Ultra Warriors. "I don't know what's wrong with this kid Salon. He's so ferocious when fighting monsters, and that light skill has a dark aura." Taro couldn't figure it out and said in confusion. "Huh? Is it a problem with the light skill?" Zoffy responded in surprise and put forward an opinion, but Taro looked strange and coughed twice. "Brother Zoffy. Salon used the M87 light." "Well, M87 light, this light skill is still." Zoffy paused in the middle of the sentence, stunned. He asked loudly, "M87 beam? When did Sarron learn it? I don't remember teaching him." Zoffy was excited and confused. M87 ray is his special skill, and it is known as the best single ray. It is powerful and can easily destroy a planet. It is one of the forbidden techniques of the Kingdom of Light. "I don't know, anyway, I saw him with my own eyes, killing people on the L60 planet with an M87 ray. Instantly killed more than 10 monsters." Taro didn't know how to respond, just shook his head. After a pause, Taro reminded, "Brother Zoffy, this is not the key to the problem. The key is that the M87 ray used by Salon is full of dark breath. And, the power is far greater than your version of M87 ray." "Well." Zoffy pondered for a while, and then said, "Compared with the Killer 87 ray used by the Dark Killer Zoffy." Taro was shocked when he heard the voice. Recalling the Ultra Dark Killer, the opponent is a dark giant born from the resentment of monsters and aliens defeated by the 6 Ultra Brothers. The most terrifying ability is that it can seize the light energy of Ultra Heroes, fuse with your own killer plasma to create a Dark Ultra Warrior. And the Dark Killer Zoffy was the first Dark Warrior created by the Ultra Dark Killer, able to use the Killer 87 ray. It is far inferior to Salon's M87 ray. After a slight comparison, Taro gave the answer. Zoffy felt a headache after hearing Taro's judgment. "I don't know how to teach, should it be handed over to Ultra Father or Ultra King?" Taro was the same, with a headache. He really loved and hated Salon. He should have become the future pillar of the Kingdom of Light. Why did he have so many strange problems? At this moment, exclamations came from outside. "Captain! Captain! It's bad, Salon!" A blue warrior ran in, panting. Hearing Salon's name, Taro immediately stepped forward and grabbed the blue warrior's shoulder. He said in a hurry, "What's wrong with Salon?" "Taro! Don't be impatient." At this time, Zoffy stretched out his hand and pressed on Taro's shoulder, reminding him. Realizing that he had lost his composure, Taro quickly let go of his hand. "What happened to Sarron?" Zoffy asked. The blue warrior immediately responded, "Sarron is leading dozens of Ultra warriors to play the oath in the Ultra training ground. What about being loyal to the Space Gang, implementing the Ultra spirit, and exercising justice in a group fight?" Zoffy. Chapter 9. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Taylor. The Space Guard headquarters fell into deathly silence. Suddenly, Taylor's expression changed slightly, and he said anxiously, "Where is Mobius? Is he in there?" "Also." The weak reply became the last straw that overwhelmed Taylor. "Sarron, you kid. Even Mobius was led astray by you." Taro yelled angrily. "I thought that Mobius, a top student in the education of the Kingdom of Light, would come forward. How can I bring Sarron back to the right path?" But he never expected it. Instead, Mobius was led astray. "Run to recognize Sarron as your big brother, and prepare to follow Sarron into the gang. Isn't this a challenge to education in the Kingdom of Light?" "No, I have to stop them." That with a flick of his cloak, Taylor left angrily, but Zoffy stopped him. "Taylor, this is useless," Zoffy said solemnly. "Brother Zoffy, what should we do?" Taylor asked urgently. "We can't just watch Sarron lead the new generation of Ultra warriors. If this continues, not only his generation, but also more and more Ultra warriors will join him. Don't panic, just defeat them one by one," Zoffy said calmly, as if he was sure of victory. "It just so happens that the Earth is invaded by evil forces from the universe again. Let's send Mobius to the Earth first. After being trained on Earth, he will surely grow into a true Ultra warrior soon. As for Sarron, leave it to him." Zoffy turned around and walked slowly towards the headquarters. He left behind words that were unclear, but Taylor understood who Zoffy was talking about. After thinking for a moment, Taylor nodded secretly. "It's you, my brother Zoffy, who owes it to you." Not only did Mobius be sent to Earth to come into contact with a new environment, he also invited that brother to find Sarron. "Humph, Sarron, it's better because of you." Taylor breathed a sigh of relief. Then, Ultra's signature was drawn in the void, pointing in two directions. One is in the direction of Sarron, the other one is Ace's direction. Auto training ground. Sarron looked at the cooperative fighting of the Ultra warriors in the audience and nodded with satisfaction. "After practicing for so long, I am finally getting better and better." This training ground was built using Kingdom of Light technology. It can be combined with the monster database and then use shadowing technology to create fictional images of monsters in the universe. For young Ultra warriors to practice their skills, at this time, dozens of phantoms of space monsters appeared, roaring and attacking the Ultra warriors, just like on the L60 planet, but it's different than before. The current batch of Ultra warriors have undergone special training. In addition, he understood the secret of justice, a righteous gang fight. It's already done with ease. The first batch of monsters rushed towards them, and the Ultra warriors at the rear quickly fired cluster beams, dealing the first wave of damage, and while the soldiers in the first row were breathing, the second row was on top again, forming a seamless light attack. As the distance approached, the Ultra warriors who were good at strength rushed out, started fighting hand to hand, and pushed forward forcefully. In addition, when the two parties were in a stalemate, Ultra warriors with special speed rushed out from both wings of the monster to engage in guerrilla harassment. Wave after wave of attacks in close succession, the fierce battle ended quickly. The result is that all the phantom monsters are destroyed. Very good, that's what it looks like. Sarron put his hands behind his back and praised. At this moment, Ultra's signature appeared in front of him, signal him to go to Ultra Arena. P.S. Looking for data, Chapter 10. Ace remembers the prosperous years. Sign in with these two abilities to completely change the Blue Clan's predicament. At the same time, a reminder sounded in my ears. The check-in location has been refreshed. Destination, Ultra Arena. Taste the sweetness from before, plus Taylor's summons. Sarron decided to go. After giving two orders, he took off again in the standard Earth Destroyer posture. It turned into a ball of blue light and shadow and struck through the air. When Membius and others saw it, they were all shocked, even if it's not the first time I've met, but the visual impact is still extremely strong. As expected of Big Brother. With this takeoff posture, no wonder Brother Sarron is so strong. When will I be able to do the same? Go away, go out, get some exercise. Ha ha ha. After Sarron left, Zhongao continued training. Ultra Arena, a fiery red light flew from a distance, and then landed steadily. When Taylor saw it, he immediately stepped forward. Brother Ace. Taylor, what urges me to come back? The light group dispersed, and a figure with red and white patterns stepped out. There is a round hole with protruding horns on the head and a red cloak. Amazingly, he is one of the Ultra Brothers and one of the 7 Nebula branch leaders, Ultraman Ace, who has titles such as Ultra King and Director of the Slaughterhouse of the Kingdom of Light. Taro immediately explained to Ace everything that had happened in the past few days, including Sarron's situation and performance, and the recent turmoil. After hearing this, Ace said in a deep voice, "This kid is quite different. More than different." Taro shook his head, his face full of helplessness. He had been tortured by Sarron. "No problem, leave the child to me." Ace patted Taro on the shoulder. He looked like nothing was a problem as long as his brother was here. Taro reminded again, "Brother Ace, remember, Sarron is really different." "Huh, don't worry." Ace didn't care. Ace, have seen all kinds of Ultra Warriors. Besides, compared to brutality, who was as brutal as I was back then? Ace crossed his arms and raised his head, vaguely remembering the time on Earth. Then he sighed. "I really miss the days of slaughtering Ultra Beasts wantonly." These words fell into Taro's ears, and he broke out in a cold sweat and felt a headache. A faint feeling of badness gathered, but he couldn't tell what it was. At this time, the blue light ball slowly landed, revealing Sarron's posture. Instructor Taro. Instructor Ace. As soon as he arrived, Salon greeted him and looked at Ace with curiosity. After all, who doesn't know this Ultraman King? Not only is he good at playing with light, but he also kills monsters without blinking. He is very suitable for my taste. Seeing such a polite Salon, Ace glanced at Taro with a blaming look. "Taro, are you talking nonsense again? This Salon is a good boy who is elegant and easygoing. Apart from giving people a feeling of being full of pressure, there are no shortcomings." As if sensing the meaning of Ace's eyes, Taro felt helpless in his heart. "Anyway, let's wait and see." Sarron, you are here. Chapter 10. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Last time I saw you use the light skill well. You have great potential for development. Then I thought of Instructor Ace, who is very good at light skills, so you should learn from him during this period. Taro secretly gave himself a perfect score for the reason he found in his heart. Some things cannot be said directly, they can only be guided indirectly, otherwise, it will be counterproductive. You have to understand everything by yourself. Well, Sarron, just learn from me. Ace stepped forward and said calmly. Yes, Instructor Ace. Sarron immediately responded, with Ace, the Ultraman King, I can make up for my lack of light skills. If I wait for the system to sign in every day, I really don't know when I will wait. Besides, with the multi-level talent Forbidden God of Magic, isn't it easy to learn light skills? The more Ace looked at Sarron, the more satisfied he was. He looks unusual and polite. He immediately waved his hand. Taro, I'll leave this to you, go ahead. Well. Okay. Taro looked back every 2 steps and left the Ultra Arena with trepidation. All of a sudden, only Ace and Salon were in the Ultra Arena, and the other Ultramen who were doing combat training nearby. Taking advantage of this gap, Salon hurriedly chose to sign in successfully, get auxiliary abilities, 100% energy absorption conversion efficiency, double energy storage. Seeing the reward window pop up, Salon was delighted. Sure enough, signing in at the location is the best choice to get rewards. Thinking in his heart, Salon looked at his 2 auxiliary abilities, 100% energy absorption conversion efficiency, double energy storage. Seeing these 2 things, Salon intuitively felt that they were good things. First, click on the information of 100% energy absorption conversion efficiency. 100% energy absorption conversion efficiency. After possessing this skill, you will be able to absorb energy with 100% efficiency, feeding back to yourself, without any waste or negative effects. After reading it carefully, Sarron was stunned. In short, this ability can improve your energy absorption efficiency. For the Blue Clan warriors, they can't use light skills as casually as the Silver Clan because their physique is not suitable. Just imagine, the innate energy absorption efficiency is not as good as the Silver Clan. What power and sustainability are we talking about? The 3 seconds man is not talking nonsense. Click on the introduction of double energy storage again. Double energy storage, based on your own energy reserves, double the energy storage capacity, and you can improve the problem of insufficient innate energy. After reading the introduction, Sarron was even more confused. For the Blue Clan warriors themselves, the 2 abilities are completely god-level. Fundamentally changed the physical problems of the Blue Clan Ultraman. In layman's terms, one ability increases the mana recovery speed, and the other ability increases the mana limit. This wave, I really made a profit. Sarron was in a good mood at the moment. Previously, the L87 light would have the sequelae of running out of energy quickly, but now it has been improved. Just when Sarron was happy, Ace's voice came. Sarron, let me see what light skills you have. Ace pointed to his chest. Sarron was a little confused. Instructor Ace, are you serious? If I don't know how well you have mastered the light skills, how can I teach you new things according to your situation? Ace scolded. He patted his pectoralis major again, then he put his fists against his waist and posed a posture of attacking casually. Sarron was silent for a while. Since Ace wants to be baptized by light, let him feel it well. M87 light, dark version. P.S. Please give me the data. Dear readers, the data is completely unchanged. It's too scary. Chapter 11 Ace, if I dodge, I will jump off this floating platform immediately. Instructor Ace, be careful. Sarron finally reminded kindly. His arms slowly raised, and the dark blue timing lights began to flash. Wisps of black mist gradually spread, as if they had become substantial. Ace responded impatiently, come on. If I dodge, I will jump off this floating platform immediately. As he said, Ace straightened his chest and pounded it hard, making a loud noise. The scene of the 2 fighting quickly attracted the attention of other Ultra warriors. After all, both of them are extraordinary. One is the famous Ultra Brothers Ace, the other is the new overlord with a great reputation Sarron. At the same time, Ace's words also fell into their ears, causing heated discussions. Instructor Ace is really good at joking. That's right, let alone standing and letting Salon attack, even lying down would be fine, right? Sarron, this kid, told Ace to be careful. What are you dreaming of? As if he heard everyone's flattery, Ace seemed to have no reaction. He just coughed twice. You all be quiet. But in fact, he quietly relaxed his strength. He planned to deal with the upcoming attack in a more casual manner. Okay. Sarron was expressionless and silent. Ace, you old man, you're still thinking about pretending to be stupid at this time. Then don't be so unkind to Sarron. M87 Ray. At that moment, Sarron suddenly raised his right hand quickly. The light ions instantly turned into dark particles, and the black light shone, covering the whole place. Swish, the dark light stream tens of meters wide shot out at a very fast speed, stirring up sparks all over the sky, and the destructive power was extremely terrifying. The light approached in the blink of an eye, and Ace suddenly came back to his senses, and realized that it was M87 Ray. What's more outrageous is that this ray also has its own dark breath, and the attack power is doubled. I told you to use ordinary light, but you used the forbidden technique of the Kingdom of Light. Sarron, you are playing with me. There was no place to hide, and almost subconsciously, Ace jumped down to the floating platform, but the light did not stop. Rumble, the terrifying M87 light swept through, triggering the automatic defense function of the suspension platform, but as soon as the light blue energy barrier appeared, a big hole was immediately pierced through. The energy light emitting a dark aura continued to blast out and fell on the suspension platform next to it. Damn, Salon. Run! The 2 fighting Ultra Warriors jumped off the platform and fled, uttering angry curses. This is not over. the M87 light emitting terrifying energy continued to penetrate. On a horizontal line, it continuously blasted through the energy barriers of several suspension platforms before finally dissipating. And Sarron slowly gathered the energy and said calmly, "The power is okay." The two new abilities are simply like adding wings to a tiger. When using the M87 light, not only the power is doubled, but the duration is also strengthened. But soon, Sarron noticed dozens of resentful eyes below, staring at him. Among them, a pair of eyes emitting milky white light was even more eye-catching, full of 3 parts of helplessness, 3 parts of anger, and 4 parts of relief. It was Ace. Bang! Ace jumped back to the suspension platform and looked at Sarron with a strange look. He looked around for several times until Sarron's hair stood up. Ace said in a strange voice, "Sarron. You are very good." "Sarron, Instructor Ace is also good." "Ace, hee hee.